Yo, welcome back to the Endgame Podcast. I'm Lynch Hunt.
I'm Rob Brown.
And you act like you were waiting for me to say something extra.
What's up? I thought you was going to go in like you normally do.
Nah, I'm just every now and then I got to give you a no look behind the back, thread the needle. You know what I mean? Yep.
I thought he was going to say, oh, the big yo gabba gabba or something.
I just got to, I got to keep you on your toes. That's all, you know what I mean? Big man, you know what I mean? Put the ball right where he need it. Bang, catch it. Boom. You know what I mean? Right to the bucket. That's
Cool.
Yeah. What's going on with you today, though, big dog? Let's talk to him, man.
Just trying to keep it in the road and stay out of the ditch. Yeah, you don't want to be in the ditch, man. He had EA coming over to the farm the other day, and he coming in there starting some mess, man. Talking about.
Come on,
he cool with being number 2.
What?
Yeah, he planting that seed.
That's not exactly how it went.
He cool with being number
down
2.
With Mace. Yeah,
he down with Mace.
Mace. He was like, man, when Mace and Hove was beefing, Hove told him, check your own videos. You always be number 2. So Mace used to wear the number 2 jersey, and Puffy had the number 1 jersey on all the joints. He was always number 2. He was cool with not exceeding Puffy. You know what I mean? Or Big. But it's cool. Go ahead, big dog. But why was this man talking about he wanted to be number 2?
He was cool with being number 2, man.
I was talking about the conversation about entrepreneurship came up. It was talking about like how the journey is all but smooth, right? And I said, and then sometimes you say like, yo, like I would be cool with being number 2 versus like the first one. Because there's a lot of pressure on that, right? There's a lot of people who depend on you and stuff like that. But the last part I said is that
second guessing a whole lot of things.
No, but the last thing I said though, I said sometimes you feel that way, but I was like, but I wouldn't change anything. That's how I feel. That's how I finished.
I don't remember that part, Coach.
You walked in right after that.
Oh, you said that when I was out of the room?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I caught all the other stuff.
You heard that,
but I didn't catch that end part. But I was out of the room for the end part. I don't know how that
that's
lined
like
up.
Blasphemy for a real entrepreneur.
Yeah. Second place, period. Just in life, man. The entrepreneur, freaking, just life. The second place is not acceptable, unless if
you're not first,
unless it's inevitable. Like Pepsi will never beat Coke unless Coke just does something bonehead. You know, there's the law of first, and Coke had a huge head start. And so, unless just Coke does something dumb, Pepsi will never catch them. But I don't think Pepsi is sitting around going, we can't catch Coke. I think they're like, how can we catch Coke? They're not going, man, I'm cool with being number 2. Avis was for so long. That's how they came up with their tagline, "We try harder," because they said, we can't say we're number 1 because Hertz is number 1, but we work harder than Hertz. So that's our tagline. We try harder. So that's how their tagline was born.
The funny thing is that you brought up Pepsi. Do you know how one of the things they did to try to beat Coke?
What was it?
Basically, how you go to most restaurants and stuff, like a lot of them use Coke products, right? Yeah. And Pepsi was having a really hard time getting into those stores. Yeah. So they decided to buy a couple of food chains. Okay. And just said, I think it was like Taco Bell and somebody else, right? Like you see like some of those stores where they have the two things together. Yeah. They just decided to buy the whole things and just say we only pushing our products. We need a fact check. It was cheaper to buy 2 to 3 restaurants, it's wild.
Need a fact check.
And then it turned into Yum Brands, and then they spun it off.
I was about to say it's Yum Brands. So Pepsi owned Yum Brands
at one point, and then they spun it off.
I didn't know that. I know it was Yum Brands.
I think we still got to help out some entrepreneurs right now that may be on that. They may have that mindset. They're
cool with being number 2.
No, that some days that they. Things get so hard and there's so much pressure on them that they literally, want to feel like going back to being number 2 or put that pressure on somebody else. Like they don't want it. Maybe we have to, speak to that for a second. We got to talk about that. Because I don't know where that came from, coming from, maybe, does that come from someone that hasn't, been an entrepreneur, full time for a long time? Or does that come from someone who's thinking about, relinquishing the CEO title or
No, I think first of all, it's an ingredient of entrepreneurship. First of all, tough times is an ingredient. If you're starting something from scratch, it's an ingredient that you will have tough times. If you expect not to have tough times, you're in trouble already. You will have tough times, right? It's the nature of the beast. So go ahead and, say, oh, this is the tough time that they were talking about. Oh, this is the tough time that, every entrepreneur has dealt with. No entrepreneur that has done anything great, they all have tough stories.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. To get through. And that's just a part of, it's an ingredient, period. No ifs, ands, no buts. That's how, I know you don't like talking about the scammers, but that's how I call cap on certain scammers. Like the chick that just, her internal team bailed on her because they were like, nah, we ain't gonna be a part of this. So she was going around telling people she made $100 million in the trucking industry. I called cap immediately for a bunch of reasons. Number one, just her age, right? Because $100 million, yes, there are some unicorns. So let me say that. Let me clean it up by saying there are some unicorns, but the unicorns are rare. The Facebooks, the Apples, the Yahoos, the Googles, the Ubers, those are the unicorns, right? Mm-hmm. Everything lines up. Market is perfect. The need is tremendous, and the solution is found. Trucking, old industry, antiquated. I'm going, nah, she ain't been in the game long enough to make $100 million.
Right.
Because most people that have reached $1 million, $10 million, they have been in the game a while. Again, another ingredient, time, right? And then she talked about like how many trucks she had in her fleet. I'm like, the math just ain't mathing. Mm-hmm. The math just ain't mathing, right? Mm-hmm. So the entrepreneurship game, man, it's nothing. Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart because you are going to have tough times. The ascension is not linear. Right. So
you're saying when you sign up, you got to sign up for tough times.
You got to sign up for tough times.
But it doesn't mean everybody like stomachs the tough times the same way, or they like actually, they handle the tough times the same way. You know what I'm saying?
So what's interesting is the entrepreneur basically says, I'm willing to take on the risk, because the employee that works for the entrepreneur will experience tough times too, without the risk. They can walk away, just throw their hands up. I'm going to go over here and jump on this risk wagon and get off of this riskier wagon.
Yes.
The entrepreneur sets out and takes all of the risk and says, I'm willing to take the risk.
Yes.
So they have to be able to navigate the difficult times.
Right. So what we're saying is that when this mindset actually pops up, then you actually are displaying an employee mindset. And if you're going to move forward, you have to kind of snap out of that and get back into the mindset and say, but I need to shoulder this risk because this is my thing, or this is the thing, or the.
It's the doing it afraid.
Yeah, I get
it's the doing it uncomfortable. It's the doing it, in spite of the uncertainty.
Right. So here's what I'm saying. There's somebody on the other side.
Yeah.
They're listening to this and they're watching this, but they thought the same thing that he thought. And now as they're consulting.
Man, I ain't know what EA thought, man. No, I'm kidding.
Not you. Not you.
You think many entrepreneurs, they go into this, I'm cool with being number two?
When did you become an entrepreneur? When did you walk away from the financial institution and then you worked for yourself after that?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I was an entrepreneur though at 10, but walking away.
Yeah, but then when you walked away from a primary source of income where you got you got a paycheck for doing something, right?
Nah. Well, okay. I even with that gig, it was I ate what I killed, so it was like commission, all commission. Yeah. So I got an interesting story about that. I thought about that today riding over here, but yeah. So we'll say into the story. We'll say 20 years ago.
Okay. All right.
I became an entrepreneur 20 years ago.
So about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 20 years removed from what he's thinking and saying right now, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, because that thing, it happens like repetitively, like different levels. You're trying to hit different levels. It's like you're retooling, starting all over. I went to yeah.
You saying that?
Yeah, I'm saying what he's talking about. That never goes away. If you're growing, if you're scaling, if you're aspiring to go to different levels, do different things to get bigger, better,
like
stronger,
that pressure,
faster,
all that different types of stuff.
Yeah, that doesn't go away.
Right.
It's just different levels of it, as a matter of fact.
Right. So for the person that there's not you, right? Not you. Yeah. I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about how you handle it right now. We're talking about a person who is right here and trying to get to that level, and then this is where they're at.
Yeah.
And they feel this thing. Yeah. And then they say this thing to themselves or sometimes out loud, right? We're now telling them that, hey, there is two types of mindsets. Mm-hmm. There's a mindset that says, this is mine, and I've taken the responsibility to shoulder all this risk, and it's do or die. Mm-hmm. There is no, I can pass this off to anybody, we're gonna burn the boats. Anybody. We've burned the boats, we burned the bridges, and we must push forward to survive. Right? That is the mindset. When we think this, we're actually thinking of, this is not an entrepreneurial mindset here that we're saying that, because this wouldn't come as of this point in your entrepreneurial career and lifespan. This is not a thought.
What do you mean?
I'm saying that this is, for me, it's not a thought. For me being a entrepreneur for forever, that's not a thought of mine. For someone who has had...
Specifically, what's not a thought? Maybe I'm missing something. What's not a thought? That
I would rather someone else have the responsibility to do this, and gotcha. I'll be number two right now.
Gotcha.
That's never been a thought of mine, but there are thoughts of entrepreneurs. There are people who have these thoughts who are entrepreneurs. And what I'm saying is it stems from something, because they've had years of a conditioned mindset when they were not entrepreneurs. So this is something real that people are dealing with in their stuff. Some of us aren't dealing with it because we've had conditioned years of thoughts that tell us that this is not a thought. This cannot be a thought if we're going to continue to push forward and survive. You understand what I'm saying? If I let this thought fester, I am in trouble. Do you understand what I'm saying, or you don't follow me?
I understand what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
So now all I'm
go ahead. No, go ahead, finish.
So I'm finished at this point. I wanted someone out there to recognize that there's two thoughts that are popping up in people's heads when there's tough times. There's an entrepreneurial mindset, and then there is an employee mindset. All right. And when that happens, you have to know which one you are actually thinking from. And if you don't switch back over to the other one that says burn the boats, burn the bridges, then you may be going back to this side sooner or later. That's all I'm trying to get across to the person who may be thinking of that. Now, EA wind up saying before he finished, that part, he switched back and said, but that's, not an option, this, that, and third. Right. However, he, said that he did, but he did start with, this was a thought. And there are days where he actually thinks like this.
Yes.
But I don't know, EA, how long have you been, operating like by yourself full time without the...
4 years.
4 years. Right. So there's still some...
Through a pandemic.
Which is super tough.
Which is wild.
Which is super wild. Which, now should give you the confidence to be able to kind of shoulder and withstand.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess the thing is, like, I feel like that... over the last, say 10, 15 years, there's always been this thing of this, you got to be man of steel type of thing, and it doesn't affect you, right? Because it does help for the perseverance of it all, right? Which I do understand. But it's not necessarily truly healthy, right? So like you got to be able to like say like, yeah, like there are times where things get a little rough, you know what I mean? And you got to just know like I think like you're saying, it's like, you know, you could feel that way, but then you might need to like switch over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to.
Like it's just like I can't ignore it. I can't act like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, yeah, it's real. I mean, you feel it. You know what I mean? But you know, it's the same way I approach like pretty much everything. It's the workouts. It's, you know, y'all like go to therapy or whatever it is. Like I'm just like, man, look. This is what it is, nigga. You got to burn the boats and whatever. And you like, he can talk about it over here, but I mean, you can't talk about it over here, but you like, yo, go see somebody and talk about it over there. I don't know. I'm just, me personally, I'm like, fuck all that shit. And I'm going to do what I need to do. And we're going to get through this motherfucking shit. And this is what I signed up for. But you know, that's what I do. You know what I mean? That's what I do. Man, what else, man? Because so what happened though? Because you came in the room, you heard this, and then
I was just snapped, I was like, who's having a conversation about being okay with second?
Yeah,
and then it was like, you know, second is the first loser, and like really, somebody's okay. I need an explanation. What did I miss? Certainly, there's another aspect of this conversation that I completely missed, and the context of what I heard is not matching up with, you know, what I preach and what I stand for. Right so there. What's going on? Help me understand. Yeah, you know, learn me.
Or let me dead all this shit before this motherfucking shit fester as a cancer in here. Because my number 2 about to be on some. Yeah, you know what I mean? Number 3, 4, 5 shit when I leave out of this joint.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about, and that's the reason why when the big homie walked in to the joint today after missing a few days, you was calling him the champ. And I was like, yo, I can't
I was just trying to encourage the brother, man.
I encouraged a totally different way. I encouraged the same way you encouraged when you heard that fuckery.
I was trying,
you heard that fuckery, right? But you big dog over there, you feel me? So I had to you brought in a totally different mindset. Hold up, I don't know what y'all talking about, but this don't even sound right. Not up in this
is a good point, because what I didn't have like this morning when I was saying the champ is here. Shout out Big E. What's up, Big E?
Oh, y'all, man.
The champ is here. Oh man, we transparent. What up, Big E? Shout out Big E. I was like, the champ is here, and I didn't have the information.
Yeah.
In my mind, you know, he's still a champ.
He's a homie,
And then you were like, who you talking to? Who you talking about? It ain't him. He done missed too many days. He's falling back too far.
G-Hoing, man. Niggas G-Hoing just fought like, come on, man.
How did G-Ho become the greatest homecoming on earth? Is that self-proclaimed?
Nah, I'm just, listen, man, look. The A&T homecoming, just because I don't want to go through this shit. We miss our point. We don't have to be arguing back and forth.
I'm not going through that.
The North Carolina A&T State homecoming was a couple days ago. And some people wind up missing a bunch of days because they did too much partying from the homecoming.
Good
right? And all I'm saying is that nobody can be a champ. It's unacceptable when we approach this thing with a mindset of calling it a way of life.
Facts.
Right? Because how we do anything is how we do everything. If we let one thing derail us from our main thing, because I just posted a video of the homie, he said he found his purpose, and this is health, and then, you know, Coach Lowe bigging him up in the men's group saying, yo, you got 1,000 in before everybody waking up, and you killing it. And I'm like, man, I just study patterns, bro. And if I'm not if I'm the coach or if I'm the person that creates and sets the tempo, then I'm watching this pattern. And I told him, so my text this morning to him at 4:00, I said, you've been getting 1% worse every day since Marlo gave you a compliment inside of the men's chat.
That's heavy, because you got to double up to break even.
Talk about
when you go backwards.
Talk about that.
It's math. The math is mathing when you got $100. If you lose 50%, I'm down to $50. Now, to get back to break even, the original 100 that I had, I have to increase 100%.
Dang, that's
I went backwards 50. To get back to break even, I got to do 100 just to get back to break even. And so if you're saying, you know, someone regresses 1% every single week, Ooh,
well, I was just throwing some, math, because we were on, I think our topic for that week was about actions and how
habits.
Actions, habits now. But we talked about how if those small daily actions could lead us to becoming 1% better, then what happens when those actions change and reverse the other way, we could be getting 1% worse.
And I believe that because, we're either growing or we're dying.
Absolutely.
Right? We're living or we're dying. Yep. So. Yeah, so that's
progressing or regressing, right? Digressing, right? Either way.
And see, people, those things are laws, man. That's not even like, say the number's not 1%. It's some percent.
It is some percent. It's
right. It's some percent. I don't know the number that you're going backwards.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what though? And it's
a law.
No, but all right. So you're absolutely right when it comes to the law of sowing and reaping, or action and reaction. All that different type of stuff. But then you're going to have these goof troops that are probably going to Google what happens when you miss one day of working out, and it's going to say you're not going to lose any gains or anything like that. But some of these people have not, they literally do not understand how the one small thing that has a domino effect or triggers you back the other way.
Bro, one miss can send you back to the starting line.
Talk about it.
Because working out is more than just showing up. It's mental.
Oh yeah.
And so now I can push past the pain and get there, but when I'm done mentally, it's hard because I can tell my body to I can have my brain tell my body to get up, get there. I don't care how you feel that, but what's gonna tell my brain?
Yeah.
What's gonna tell my mental to push past whatever it is that needs to be pushed past? There's nothing. It's the brain, your mind. That's the center. So a miss is more about that mental thing that has you locked in, that has you displaying that massive action. Yeah. Right. The habits that you talk about. Oh man, I ain't talking about the big mo. I ain't talking about momentum.
Yeah.
Bro.
Compound.
You ever drove a car that didn't have power steering?
Oh my goodness!
You ever drove one?
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Back in the day, I think I learned.
It's hard if you ever driven a car that doesn't have power steering. It's hard to turn it. Yeah. If you're moving slow.
Yeah, if it ain't moving fast. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's so much easier to turn it when you're moving fast.
Absolutely.
And so you take that momentum away. Shoot, man. I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know.
I think one of the major points that people need to take away from here is being in an environment or around people that know when you're digressing or regressing. Yeah. Know when you're going backwards or not moving forward or losing momentum and things like that. And if some people can spot out those patterns and at least give you a heads up.
Make you aware.
The consciousness. It's all about the level of consciousness, expanding your consciousness. We talk about this stuff all the time, man. So, it was pretty dope. You guys, not you guys, but everybody in totality, I think, you think that I'm super hard, but he actually thanked me today. He literally said thank you.
Good.
You know what I mean?
That's the best part of the story.
That's
the absolute best part of the story.
That's absolutely the best.
That speaks volumes.
To get people back into the good stuff. You know what I mean? The good stuff.
Yeah, that's the best part.
It's super dope.
Love it. You ever been mad at a dead person?
Mad at a dead person? Well, nah, I don't think so. So one of my best friend just passed away, right? Yeah. So since second, third grade, been rocking with the homie Vic for forever, and we were like the white and black version of each other. It's like you saw one, you saw the other.
And what is it, yin and yang or whatever?
Yeah, I don't.
Yin and yang.
Yes, something like that. You know what I mean? But we just been and he passed away for health reasons, right. But of course, everything stems from something else. But I think this would be one of them times where I'm a health guy, and you can either be mad at him, or you could be mad at yourself, you know what I mean, for not helping or, you know, doing everything that you could, or you could be like, you know, wow, how couldn't you take care of yourself? And, you know what I mean, this, that, and third is one of those reasons. But honestly, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't think, I'm thinking about the people that have passed away that are, you know, close to me, my sister, my dad, my, you know what I mean, all the, you know, close friends and things like that. And I've never really been mad at a dead person. I've never been mad. What about you?
Yeah, I have been mad. I was, and I think it's the ultimate form of unforgiveness.
Okay.
You know, because you can't even talk it out with the person. You can't even, you know what I'm saying? So you have to resolve that conflict within yourself. And so for me, it was like, I think I was 17 and my great grandmother passed. And she was a rock in my life. And I'm like, I'm 17. This is when I need you the most. And I'm about to go to college and all this other stuff that you're not going to witness. So I was like, I was angry. Like, yeah, like how dare you? Right. That was kind of my posture, but I had to get beyond that, and it wasn't really anything to forgive her for. I had to forgive me, and you know, do some other work. But I was thinking about that earlier today, and just the whole concept of the whole notion of forgiveness. Yeah, you know,
that's dope. Yeah, well, I mean, you were young, and you don't really know what forgiveness is at that point.
Right. What do you think forgiveness is, or what do you believe forgiveness is?
Oh man, forgiveness is loaded, man. Forgiveness is when, you know, you literally can, I think you don't place blame on anything or anyone because of the outcome, because of outcomes. It's when you let everything be what it is, because it's divine timing, it's divine order. You know, you are where you're supposed to be at any given time, because it's part of your personal growth and evolution. So it's always going to be divine timing and divine order. We just don't know that, you know, in that time. And it takes a lot of, it takes years sometimes to unpack and to reflect on, to kind of, you know, get to that point of healing or forgiveness and things like that. So, you know, forgiveness is always with you first. You know what I'm saying? Like I you know, seeing other people at the funeral and things like that, it was, you know, sometimes you get questions about, you know, my journey. You know, I was gone for 10 years, and when the last time you seen such and such, man? You know, I heard, you know, you were the only one, or you and such were the only one that went to the feds. You know what I mean? You know, how you know, what did such and such tell, and how you feel about that, and have you ever seen them? And you know what I mean, I wonder what that's going to be like when you got, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm cool, everything good. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, like you seem more offended than me.
Well, you know, sometimes when people, you know, kind of cut themselves, you know, out of your life, they're basically dead people too. And, you know, I'm still not mad at them. You know what I'm saying? You just can't give people that much authority over your life.
But that's like, so with the whole process of forgiveness, everything you said is on point, but how do you deal with the emotion? Because you're like, I'm not mad at them.
Yeah. So
how should people deal with the emotion of, you know, because you can say, okay, it happened, it was divine.
Well, you deal with
still mad.
Well, if you can't be still mad if you believe it happened before, you know, it happened the way it happened. So the first thing I do is I accept 100% responsibility for that place or that circumstance that I was in. So in my particular thing, I'm not saying this is not for anybody who has experienced anything like that. You know what I mean? Something different where it was unforced, I mean, it's against their will or whatever like that. I literally, you know, chose to have certain friends or, you know, associates in my life. And if I did not make those decisions or those choices, then it would not have got to that part of the destiny. Like that destination would not be, I would not have been there in that part to be able to blame anything on someone else. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, I had to take responsibility for all the roles that the role that I played to get in that situation first. That was my first step in, you know, healing or, you know, forgiveness and
regardless
things like
of
that.
Who else was a part of the equation or the story.
Yeah, anything after that.
You flipped that first domino. Absolutely. And you looked at it like that.
Yeah, I had to. I had to, like, literally. Like, and I told you, I think last week, I was like, yo, I wrote my mom a postcard, you know what I mean, from the joint. So I literally I started accepting responsibility from the very beginning. And that was before, I knew, the process.
So why did you do that? Like, did you do that because someone said this is what you should do?
No, like I said,
came to yourself.
That was the spirit. That was God. That was divine saying, you know what I mean? And I just got into the flow with this little half a pencil and postcard, and started to accept responsibility for where I was, for the condition that I may have put them or caused them, and things huge, like that.
And, you set the rest of your life up with that one move.
Yes, yep. Yeah. And I even did it again with I wrote a letter to the judge and to the people that came to my sentencing, and basically it was now what we call future pacing, and that set the trajectory of how I was going to do the time. Right. Wow. You know what I mean, which was pretty dope, which was part of the healing and forgiving process.
And I don't know, but my guess is like everything that you may have been feeling, all the anxiousness, the anxiety, whatever, like once you did that action, that stuff dissipated, and now I'm prepared to go deal with these next, well, like you said, your dad said, just one day at a time. I'm ready to go deal with this next day, and then I'm ready to go deal with the next day because I got all this other stuff off me by saying, you know what, I did this.
I think I was able to channel it after that, so it didn't necessarily, get off me. I was able to internalize it better.
Like when did you was there a battle internally saying, this wasn't my fault, or it shouldn't have come out, it shouldn't have ended this way because
it was all my fault.
I know, but was there a battle before you got to the point?
No,
like, when did you get
immediately,
so you get handcuffed and then you go, what, this is my fault.
Absolutely. It happened like a movie. It literally happened like a movie. Wow. It was, first of all, I felt relieved when I got arrested.
Right. I hear that all the time.
Yeah. I was tired. I never was.
I hear that
so
all the
hard
time.
for
And you
me
actually
to make the decision to walk away. It was so hard for me to make the decision to change. And so I'm the person that I didn't have. I'm the person hollering at people, yelling at people, and I'm being so forceful with what I'm saying because I know that you're never going to do this being coddled. You're never going to do this with that other voice in your ear saying, you know what I mean? Like, nah, next time, you know what I mean? Right. I'm like, nah, today, yo, it's urgent. Like, it's a fire. Like, let's do this now. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just walk away. So, I was super relieved, and I was like, yo, now it's just long as they don't throw the book at you, man, you got another shot, man. And, you know what I mean? Like we'll figure it out.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Wow. Yeah.
That's an interesting perspective, man. So you're basically saying the feds gave you, they gave you an out.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Without me telling.
Right.
Yeah. Without me compromising my integrity and just like, some of it is to, the fact that I just took it day by day. You know what I mean? And some of those cats where they try to stay, you know what I mean, in the past, they want to keep getting money. Right. They want to keep being with the girls. Right. They want to keep eating lavish, living lavish, and stuff like that. It was me. It was just like, all right, well, let's see if we get bail. And then, you know what I mean? Well, let's see, you know what I mean, if we got some commissary, or let's see if we get to a better unit or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Right. It's just, you just keep going, you know what I mean? One foot in front of the other, man. It's pretty dope, man. Dope. Looking back, it's dope now, but it's just, shit was scary going through it. Sure. You know what I mean? Shit's a little scary. Shit tough.
I'm sure. You ever had a situation outside of that situation, like on this side, like, a legal situation? You ever been sued?
Yeah. So I've been, and once again, it wasn't even my fault. Yeah. It wasn't even, there was another. So I have two brands that operate underneath of 320 East Washington Street. Right. And, one of the other coaches from the other brand was personal training somebody, and that person experienced something called rhabdo. You ever heard of rhabdo?
Never.
All right, rhabdomyolysis is something where basically like it's something that happens in your kidneys because of like like you worked your arms so much you can't move them joints, and then your kidneys can't process the blood through them, right? And you can die from rhabdo, basically. Dang. So this person goes to the hospital, you know what I mean, all this different type of stuff, and they sue AWOL Fitness. They take AWOL Fitness to court because, you know, basically it's just how it went.
So it's like doing those 225-pound glute bridges that create that Rapco. What is it? A Rapco? What is
Rapco,
it?
My house.
Rapco, yeah.
You looked it up? You looked it up?
Yeah, look that up. Yeah, yeah. Send me that. Send me that. Because I'm like walking funny because I had
you said that was like rabies? Like
Rhabdo, my house is pull up. So what happened was I had to wind up, you know, going to court, but you know, we got the network. In the network, we got the high powered attorneys. So shout out to, you know, Jason Keefe, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And you know, it's pretty dope just to have, you know, people, you know, in your circle like that can help you and stand with you, and you know what I mean, just help you protect what you've built and what you got. And you know, he beat it up, threw it out the park, and got it out of the park and everything, and we were able to keep pushing forward.
How like emotionally, how were you going through that process, going through the
you know what I mean, so, you know, I've been through some stuff.
I got a friend who's an entrepreneur. He said, man, if you ain't getting sued, you ain't doing something right. You ain't doing something right if you ain't getting sued.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, man, it's like most times it's a teaching moment, or it's a way to, you know, protect yourself, get better, or put some more things in place, some security measures, you know, all that different type of stuff, or, you know, tighten up the way you're doing the private contractors and stuff like that, because we're growing and things like that. But other than that, man, it ain't, you know, you guys heard on this podcast before, you know, we've been in home invasions, people tied my mom up and shit like that. So, you know, you go through, you know, stuff like that where people's ransoms, you know what I mean? Like this shit ain't nothing, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got it. What Rhabdo say, big dog?
He's like, Rhabdo ain't nothing.
Nah. Yeah, he got it.
Nah, yeah, it's right here. So, although
did you hold on? Did you put in? Can you get Rapco from glute bridges?
Nah.
225-pound glute bridges.
It says for the most part it's caused by a direct traumatic injury. So that's kind of close to what you're looking for.
Yeah.
The condition can also be a result of drugs, toxins, infections, muscle ischemia, electrolyte, and metabolic disorders. I mean, it basically is a lot, but it says direct trauma, and it sounds like now I have my excuse. I got my doctor's note.
Yeah, that's your doctor's note. You got a whole you got a whole doctor's note why you can't come.
So it's tough, man. The toxins. So when your cell gets impermeated, like the toxins can't get in or out. And basically, like when you get that burn and that pump, that's when like all the things are supposed to be going in and then filtering out. Got it. And when the pump lasts too long, they're stuck there. They're there and they're stuck. And now this thing is taking place. And you know, you should have felt a little bit like that today. Oh yeah, bro. That's what I'm like. I'm trying to learn, bro. I had some people though, but since I'm seasoned, I had some people actually start today. I had 2 people start 6-week challenge today. Oh, 2 people started 6-week challenge today in that second class. Oh, okay. And they got the rap. One of y'all said because one of y'all sets. Your set of triceps was 180 reps before we moved on. You probably don't know that, but you did a drop set, 50, 40, 30, 20, 20, 20. So each set was 60. You did 3 sets. It was 180 just on triceps. Right. I wasn't going to have them new people do 180 reps of triceps in like a 10-minute block. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So
he has a conscience, y'all. I didn't realize he had a consance, man. I thought it was like...
Oh, no. It's brand new. You ain't going to do it today. 3 weeks from now? Shit. Yeah, you lazy lima bean. You only did 100 sets. 100 reps, rather. You only did 100 reps.
Don't work out, man.
I got sued once. You got sued? But it really wasn't getting sued. It was like
what was it about?
It was like because we had an arbitrator, right? And we had an arbiter because it was, the contract said I couldn't take them to court. They can't take me to court. We got to get an what is it? Arbitrator. Arbitrator to come in and thank you, to come in and decide. And it was when me and my business partner started our company. I left the company that I was with, but I had a 7-year deal. So back in the day, financial advisors, man, we were getting like stupid money to bring our book of business to a new company. So but you got to stay for X amount of years. So it's like, so my deal was like 7 years, like $700,000, right? So you get upfront money, then you gotta do the workout, and so I knew.
That's practice squad money on the NFL, right?
Right. It is practice squad money.
For 7 years,
not risking CTE. It wasn't that bad, right? And so I knew I was leaving because I'm going to start my own thing, and I had seen other people leave, and they not come after them for the rest of their money, but I left. And I get a note,
and they came after you,
bruh, saying, "Yeah, we need
you was big dog. You was
we need $250,000.
Yeah,
we need to." I'm like, I ain't got $250,000. Yeah, they were like, they wanted $250,000 back, and I'll never forget. I had a conversation with my boss at the time, and this just kind of cemented the notion of go be an entrepreneur. When he said, "I can't believe you're trying to take money out of my pocket." And I said to him, "What about the millions I put in your pocket?" Right, and right there, that was the cutting of the cord. Like, okay, I mean, I had walked through the mindset of stepping out anyway, but when he said that, oh, you just showed me really and truly who you are. Yeah, right. And so, but yeah, so then we had to go to arbitration. Took like 2 years before we went to arbitration, and I wasn't prepared. I didn't have an attorney because the reality is I knew I left within the 7 years. And so they went through the like a little mini trial with the arbiter and witnesses and all that crap. And they came back and was like, give me $250,000. I'm like, man, got it. And so that was the thing that forced bankruptcy, because like if I filed bankruptcy,
so they ruled, the arbitrator ruled in there?
Yeah. I ain't have a leg to stand on. But again, I'm going, hey, I ain't go after nobody else. Right. And there's precedent that they didn't go after anybody else to pay any money back. So, but I knew, so I had that in back of my mind. I can do this bankruptcy thing, but then they were like, and I heard rumblings, he ain't filing for bankruptcy. That's 5 years, of financial prison, bankruptcy, basically. Actually more than that, because after you get out of bankruptcy, then it affects your credit, so you got to build your credit. So you're talking about a 6, 7 year, 8 year process, right, to get back, in quote unquote financial good standing. But the lessons I learned in bankruptcy are invaluable. So, absolutely, yeah. So
that's why you the guru expert wants to play my man next. Not me.
Let's go.
Mr. Exit over there. Know what I'm talking about?
And that was actually, what I thought about it, that was actually the first exit when I sold my book of business to the firm that bought it. I never thought about it like that, because I always looked at myself as an employee, even though I didn't have a W-2. I mean, it was like a 1099.
You had a book of business.
But I had a book of business. Had a book of business. So yeah. So
that's dope.
So yeah, that was an interesting experience.
Let's note that too for one of your early chapters in the book.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
we can do it for sure. But yeah, that's my.
So one thing that I was talking real quick. I actually just had this conversation with Mike. It was probably last night. I give a speech after like all the classes and stuff like that. And I was telling Mike, I said, since reflection is one of my practices and habits, I literally am able to find a personal story to relate to all of the topics, or the devotion or the intention the concentration that we're on today. Right. So it allows me to tie that to have a story to go with the chapter that we're actually writing right now. You know what I'm saying? So just doing those reflections, and with the podcast now, you have a lot of reflections that we can tie to the principles that you're going to put in the book, which is pretty dope. So I just want to point that out, because now we actually have we have the content to even go back on when you may even some of these may be submitted to the actual writer. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like in the process and stuff like that. So once we, boom, I got you. We got you. I got you. Pretty dope.
You're always thinking, man. You're always thinking.
Yeah, I mean, you just popping up, man. It's through experience. It's pretty dope, though. What do I got something. I got something that just came to me. Last week we talked about the guy, the YouTube guy that did the review for the restaurant.
Yeah.
We talked about it for a little while. I was listening to the joint, you know what I mean? Like I watched the episode. I thought it was pretty dope, man.
Yeah.
If y'all missed that episode, make sure you go back and check that out, man, because we had an extensive conversation on that right there. EA took us all the way around the block, but I thought it was a pretty dope I thought it was a pretty dope lesson in entrepreneurship and customer service and stuff like that, right? Yeah. I thought it was pretty dope. So I actually saw, real life full circle influencer bless a business last couple days. So you know how like these reviews can literally bless a business or break a business. Yeah. So it's like bless or break with the social media marketing and things like that these days. And I think it's pretty dope when an influencer can literally just break somebody kind of like overnight and everything. And shout out to Brooke and Xavier, Xavier Carrington and Brooke. They were able to, of course, like doing the work. Like one time, Tabitha Brown came to town, and they presented Tabitha Brown with some merch. And the other day, Tabitha Brown actually wore the merch and gave them the shout out.
Get out of here.
So apparently Tab does this thing on her page where she actually kind of supports and puts
like
the person's brand on. Yeah, which is dope, man. I just thought, like, I was just like, man, we should talk about that because where everybody else wants to be paid to wear somebody's stuff or support somebody's stuff, things like that. Then you got somebody who actually makes a post who's super huge.
That's life-changing.
It's life-changing, man. So, my wife did the, shout out to my wife, I Lack Nothing. You always see me rocking it. I mean, we always, shout out to the new joint right here. But my wife did some vending jobs for GO A&T's homecoming. She did the Sheraton, which is a huge venue,
convention center.
Basically, at the convention center. A lot of people coming through there and staying there, when they come in town. And her booth and Xavier and Brooks' booth were right next to each other. So it was just pretty dope to, dope part about it, Xavier and Brooke, they're with the community, AWOL. And, I don't know if people know this or not, but my first ever AWOL shirts, Xavier printed.
Really?
Yeah, my first ever AWOL shirts in maybe 2013, I think, Xavier printed them. And
So was there an uptick in their business as a
I think they're getting a huge spike right now and everything. I haven't got a chance to have a conversation with them yet, but that's literally how it happens, man. And it's just pretty dope to actually see that and to see that happen to somebody that that you love.
Tabitha Brown, man, for doing
shout
that.
Out to Tab is doing that.
She didn't have to. Here's the thing: it didn't cost her anything.
Dang, man.
It didn't cost her anything.
Nothing,
so
man.
I mean, a lot of times people.
And those are and that's the reason why I kind of wanted to highlight this, because this is we talk about business, we talk about life, and we talk about group economics a lot. And we have so many people that are in position to kind of lend a hand or do something. And you can't just tie your face, your brand, your name with anybody, but if something adds value to you and in your life, or there's nothing really stopping you from being able to do that for somebody, which is some pretty dope stuff, man. So shout out to everybody that's doing those type of things.
That's
man.
Good stuff, man. I love it. I love it.
Yes, sir.
I love it, man. You guys are having a whole bunch of events coming up.
Wow, man. Yeah, it's a busy time for us, man. It's a real busy time, man.
No, we're not gonna do that. I was about to talk about G-Ho, but we're not gonna do that. So what is going on with you, man?
I was out of town, man. I've been two weekends in a row. I've been to Jersey, man. Got a lot of stuff going on. We get my brother situated, come home from prison and everything.
Nice.
It's tough.
How's bro doing? How's he adjusting?
I don't know, man. I talk to him every day, but I'm not sure. I know it's pretty hard. You gotta go through the whole thing, filling out applications, and you gotta go through a whole bunch of different type of stuff. Especially you gotta go programs and things like that, man.
Right.
So it's kind of tough, but he seems to be, he's just happy to be on this side right now. So that's always a good thing. When you're in good spirits and everything like that.
What should you watch a lot of podcasts?
Nah,
just
not really. If anything, I catch like clips on Instagram. I think Instagram is my little
media source.
Yeah, I kind of mess with that a lot because I post a lot, and then when I post, I find myself on there, or when I go on there, I got a million DMs and messages and things like that. I'm trying to get them blue dots off my phone, so 9 times out of 10, I'm spending a lot of time. Well, the message dots.
Oh
yeah. When I got messages and stuff like that, I gotta work to complete them. I got this completion thing. It's part of me to complete something once you start it. Wow. It's tough.
So your email is cleaned out. You got a clean email.
My email's pretty clean. Yeah, I only have like 17 dots on there, but out of like thousands of emails, I only have and those are 17 that I probably just I want that I need to keep.
He's a bad man. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I keep it clean. I keep it clean.
I was gonna say, what do you? I look at this since we do podcasts, and I know why we do what we do. But there's been like an evolution of podcasting, and I'm just wondering. I'm always interested in knowing the opinions of people relative to their perception of podcasting right now.
Okay,
is it a because I know for me, for a long time, I never listened to podcasts. Then I started listening to them. Going, oh, it's pretty dope. So it's a great source of information, sources of inspiration, sources of direction. And so
you got to respect the people, and you got to know where it comes from too. But you're
right. So I'm just like, in this evolving space, where are we? Are we, you know what I'm saying? So if you look at a bell curve, right? So are we still at the base of that bell curve? Or are we, 2/3 of the way up the left side? We sitting at the top of the bell?
Yeah. I think we're like you just said, about 2/3 of the way up. I think the reason why we're up that high right now is because the number of podcasts we actually have completed. Which that means just that just the repetition alone, the amount of content that we have.
Right.
I think it puts us past a bunch of other people, and then the quality of the content too. But I think the foundation of it was for us first. This was more of therapy for me, you, and Max, to kind of come on here and just speak what's on our mind, what's on our heart, what's in our life, what's going on right now. And I think, with this being a safe place and space for us, we just allow people to come in, and in the beginning it's just like whatever happens from there. We go
just
from
witness
there.
The conversation, that stuff that we talk about, or stuff that
we just cut the camera on, because we talk about it. Like we be sitting here on. Before before we even start, we're like, cut the camera on. That's content.
But EA, he don't listen, man.
Yeah. EA don't be Mr. Ray. He don't be ready, man. EA be missing the joint, man. You know what I mean? He on the action. You know what I mean? Like, you got to just.
I'm going to count you in. I'm about to count you in.
Well, 4, listen, 3. I produce art. Okay.
I know that's right.
When I produce art,
he's an artiste.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Is that what you're saying, EA?
Listen.
Yo, man. So just real quick. So on that, so we're looking at doing this partnership with this group called Art is for Everyone in Winston-Salem. And so there's a direct connection between art and healthcare.
Okay.
And so it's pretty dope. I'll be able to talk a lot more about it in the future, but nationwide, there is a movement for artists to tap into healthcare organizations to help them with their mission. And then the reciprocal nature of the relationship is more people becoming more aware about the power of art.
Yeah.
Right. And so, so artists out there, the creators out there, tap into, your local healthcare organizations, find out how you can be of a benefit to them. Art shows. So we're actually in United Health Centers. We're about to have a couple murals painted inside of the health center, so that
Y'all already contracted the people, everything?
Yeah.
I was gonna say shout out to my man Phil. Man, Phil's been ahead of the game for a long time, man. He deals with the healthcare systems and the Cone Healths and all that different type of stuff. Phil's responsible for a lot of the murals around the city. Yeah, he flies people in and things like that. He gets stuff done.
But yeah, we got and I probably need to double check on that because I know it was a bid process to find the artist to do it. But the notion is a kid or anybody for that matter that is anxious about going into a healthcare facility or receiving, treatment at a doctor's office, they'll see an expression of art on the wall that may have someone that looks like them.
Absolutely.
On both sides, delivering the service in the form of a doctor, or as a happy kid going to the doctor, having a great experience, and that kind of sets the tone. And I never thought about it like that, but we got there's grant money to for artists to come in and paint these murals, so that's going to be dope. So
that's why I said shout out to my man. My man's been ahead of the curve for a while, man. I think I literally think the homie Phil's is a genius. He's a borderline genius. We have this on one side of A-Wall, on the side where there what's that called? City View Apartments. On the other side, there's a picture, a mural of a naked lady laying in like in a pasture. And it's like the whole side of the building. And there was an international artist that came in and painted that and everything. And shout out to Matt Anderson because of the artwork that's on the building, on all the way around. That's what prompted Matt, coming from the City View side, to come over here and check out A-Wall. Everything that you're saying is things that we've literally experienced in our business and our life and stuff like that. And we have some great relationships with everybody to this day with all that different type of stuff.
So artists, man, so it's all type of artists too. I mean,
it's all type of artists, because we have graffiti, we have conventional art, we have all different types of stuff on there, and it's some pretty dope stuff. Remember, I took you into Transform GSO, and I showed you Maya Angelou.
They had like sculptors.
Yeah, but remember the big picture of Maya Angelou, the black and white picture of Maya Angelou.
Was that a photo or was that a painting?
No, Phil, my man Phil, man, shout out to Phil.
But did Phil paint it, or did he take a picture?
Man, Phil was the maestro, baby. You ain't gotta. So Phil paint, you know what I mean? He do all that, but he don't gotta do all that to get it done. He get it, call the people, broker the joints, make it
happen.
Yeah, the homie, man. So a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. So if you think about it, the reason why downtown has a lot of the black murals and have a lot of the stuff going on, because they want the black patronage. They want us to come in there and build, what I mean? They want us to not tear it up or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, we spend a lot of bread, you know what I mean?
So the Black Lives Matter on the street, that's not really Black Lives Matter. It's just about bringing people down there to buy hot dogs and stuff.
You just gave us some insight on the psychology of it, right?
I was talking specifically about healthcare, but not selling hot dogs downtown.
We're never talking specifically about anything, because everything is tied to a principle and a law, right? So now when you tie this to the psychology of sales, because we're trying to get somebody into an establishment to patronize the service, right? Now think about why some of this stuff is actually getting done these days. There's still psychology of it behind it, right?
So an artist can tap in anywhere. If they're employing the psychology of their art.
But now somebody has to actually go in and advocate on their behalf, which it creates the narrative to control and create the narrative to actually get that done. And if the person who owns the building doesn't see the need for that, or the person that has the grant money doesn't, want to give it to that person, so somebody has to be the liaison that actually puts that whole piece together. So once again, shout out to Phil.
Phil is a navigator.
He creates and controls the narrative so that he can marry those things to get even the underserved artist a chance to actually shine on a bigger, platform. You know what I mean? Shout out to the homie.
All right, man.
But speaking about art,
you got something else?
Yeah, heck yeah. The homie EA got the
EA Sports.
First of all,
EA's in the game now, baby.
We were talking about the feeling of something. We was talking about dopamine and entrepreneurship and chasing feeling, all that different type of stuff. And you know, we talked about EA had a big thing that he was about to, you know what I mean, launch and do and stuff like that. And you know, it took a while for the stuff to come through. Yeah, how you feel about, first of all, how you feel about creating a concept, following through on it, and being able to yield, you know, just a multiple from it. You know what I'm saying? Right. As opposed to an hour of doing something and saying you got to pay me this much for this hour, and then you're like, you know what I mean? Like there's just two different worlds here, right? Yeah.
So like going from just like the service side to going into like product and stuff like that, to be able to ideate, to research, to source, to negotiating. And, you know, putting in your own bread, you know what I'm saying? Spending more than what you allocated for, you know, what you need to do, because, you know, there's always those things that kind of pop up.
Yeah, the unforeseen.
And then and then just dealing with like doing stuff overseas, and then having to deal with like basically like things coming over, and like you having to worry about, you know, is the Panama Canal have the right water levels, and you getting pushed back weeks at a time, and then you get a phone call talking about, yo, like the pack is here. Are you ready for it?
Yeah. You got to watch how you're using them words. You know what I mean? You might be affiliated with, you know, I did time for leader of 8.3 billion drug break. You talking about Panama Canal and the pack is here.
There's people who know me well enough. They know that, like Rick Ross and Pusha T and Hove are my favorite rappers and stuff like that. Yeah. I ain't never seen a dime bag or nothing. But sometimes you just feel it, and I understand. I can you know, sympathize. I can empathize.
Nah, it's pretty dope. I was telling you off camera that Hove got a lyric. He say that, you know, you don't know the feeling when them things get across, and you know, you literally now like know the feeling how when your pack get across, how like you about to tear up the town, you about to lock shit down, like you about to flip and bounce this thing all around. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's all good, man. It's pretty dope. Yeah, super bars. Super bars. But you feel great about what you got going on and everything, man.
Yeah, and
you should have opened one up and let me see, check it out, because we about to put them up in the gyms and everything too.
Yeah. This pretty dope. All right, let's take a quick second and then we'll get it set up.
Okay. All right. So, you know, on this note, man, we've been talking about art, and the homie EA's come up with a super dope entrepreneurial like endeavor, man. And I just was like, yo, this stuff is going to blow, yo. I'm not sure if y'all can actually see it right now, but one of the Moment LED smart frames is sitting up here right now, man. And I'm telling you, like, I literally saw a whole play, you know, when he showed it to me. I was like, yo, we're gonna put this up in the gym, man. We can do this, that, and third. But let's talk a little bit about how this thing works, dog. Like, you take your phone, you tap the corner of the frame right there. Rod, can you take your phone, tap the corner of that frame right there, and this picture turns into the actual moment that, you know, they shot it or took it. And, you know, you can run this spill a million different ways, man. Like, so right now, you know, you watching, you know, that car speed off, you know, as they caught the joint right there. Yeah, it's some pretty dope stuff. But you know, just imagine if you have a product or a service, you know, how you could actually promote that with this frame in your store, or, you know, it could even be at the crib, like at your house. Now you actually can capture a moment and, you know what I mean, put that up there, but it's tied to like a video where, you know, y'all actually captured that moment. Like, I think, you know, it's super. How you feel about, you know, come from idea to, you know, conception, big dog? How you feel about this? I thought it was dope.
I mean, the thing is where it kind of stemmed from was based off of another endeavor that we're kind of working on with Max and stuff like that. And I was like, I wanted to find something that can complement the other product.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was just something that, like, you know, wanted to, like, just kind of like scouring the internet and just basically just kind of ran into it. And it was just like, you know what, like, let's just try something a little bit different. Because, like, you have smart frames and stuff like that, but it's like most of them are like really small and very, very expensive. Right. Or you have people who do canvases, but then, you know, those are like really, really permanent. So with these, you can basically upload any photo that you have, like maybe your iPhone or your Android phone. Basically, we get it printed into a poster like what you guys have in your hand. And then you can basically interchange it out.
Change these out.
Change them out. And then essentially the link that's attached to the frame, you can basically change whenever you want.
Some dope Beatles. Yeah, so peep this. So, and this is how, like, literally, this is how ideas happen. Ideas come about, right? So I just got back from the F1 race in Austin, right? Formula One race in Austin. And so I took pictures. I captured videos of different moments, right? Yep. But so did millions of other people. Yeah. And they may have a shot that I didn't get that was dope, that I want to have that shot. Yeah. Right. So, and we're talking about moments in time, right? So my moments are limited with my experience, the amount of time that I had to experience the moment, et cetera, right? Absolutely. But what if, right? What if there was a way for me to access all of the other moments that took place at that F1 race, to have, you know, these dope, very colorful vinyl pictures produced that could end up in my digital frame? That'd be dope. Yeah. Right. So what if there was a place like a market, gallery. A gallery of sorts where, so here was the event. Yep. Here are all the moments from the event. Yeah. That can ultimately end up in my frame. Yeah. And I don't know if that was ever a thought, but you know, it could be an NBA game. It could be. I think we're giving away too much game now. Okay. Let me be quiet. Let me be quiet. Let me peel that back. It's pretty dope stuff, man. I'm ready for this stuff to fly off the charts. But the fact that, so now, because in last week we talked about memories, right? And we talked about the fact that we think in pictures. We learn in pictures, right? Absolutely. So the whole, again, and I'm just this is literally freestyle coming off the dome. So in the education space, so like right here, I have this vinyl picture of Beatles, right? And the moment was captured of these Beatles doing whatever the heck these Beatles were doing, right? But then, like you said, I can tap the corner of my digital frame, and I can get a code that's going to take me to the site or take me to the media where I can now teach about these Beatles. I can teach my class about these Beatles. Yeah, without question. Or I can teach my class about, you know, the experience I had in Paris, or I don't know, whatever. You know, the birth of
like when you come in the gym, you're going to see me or Mike or Marlo or Wendy or, you know, somebody like that on the poster, and then it could actually take you to, you know, Wendy's site. It could take you to, you know, Mike's vitamins or something like that. You know what I mean? It could take you to, there's so many different ways you can just flip and bounce it. 100%. This might be me doing a motivational speech. This is me and you in front of the kids at the page, and then you flip that, and then you actually get the spill of me and you dropping a gem on them or something like that. You know what I mean? It's pretty dope.
So you got the moment that you collect, but why not be able to collect the moments that I experienced? Because I've been to Paris. I got some dope shots of Paris, but why not let me get your shots when you went to Paris? Let me tap into your moment so I can throw in my digital frame. So it's a dope concept. Dope concept, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. And
entrepreneurship, you know, at its finest.
You know, and am I appreciating you guys? You know, those boxes next to you. So those are the Moment Plus. So that's
sure. And as you can see, our boxes are a lot bigger than the one that you see on the stand right there. So we got the dope sizes, man. And
we got the A2 black. What you got? I got the A2 black. What's
man? I don't know, but
it's on the back.
Both of y'all got
all black everything.
All black everything.
I mean, So you know, if y'all interested in something like this, man, make sure you check the comments and anything. The websites there, you'll be able to see the prices and, you know, all the different type of stuff. And make sure you tell them, you know what I mean, In-Game Podcast sent you, man, and you might be able to get a little discount.
Look for the discount code. There'll be a discount code in the comments. And
especially since these joints is fresh off the boat. You know what I mean? Anybody jumping on them right now, they probably get
what is that? I mean, that's not a regular process, right? So just real quick, I know we're going over time, but what was that process like, EA, dealing with, you know, getting your product shipped from China, the whole, you don't have to go through the details of the logistics process, but getting them from China to America and then wherever they landed at in America to getting to you?
I mean, it was definitely tough. You know, it's one of those situations where, you know, the order was not big enough to be able to, you know, to kind of be able to tap in with the homie to be able to, for him to move it, right? So I needed to move it directly to my door, right? So, but basically it was just like the going back and forth, getting the actual stuff tested, you know, and getting it over here to check it out what it's like, making sure that they print the boxes correctly, right? And then getting it over here essentially, and then, you know, basically they were supposed to be here about 2 weeks ago, but you got things that basically are just not in your control, right? So you got tons of ships that are trying to go through the Panama Canal to go from China to the East Coast, and basically it pushed it back about 3 or 4 days because the water levels weren't right, and they basically had to wait. And then that kind of backed everybody up, and, you know, basically getting it from New York. They took it from New York to Greensboro, and then Greensboro, like yesterday, and called me and said, "Hey, we're coming tomorrow morning."
Yeah,
right.
That's pretty dope, bro.
I was there this morning. Unpacking the pallets myself.
It was the dope part is this: you went from you know, working a job, career, whatever it is, but now you're actually into import export, which is like takes you to, you know, manufacture, and, you know, you skipped levels with, you know, the headache that you had to go through with this process right here. But now that information is so invaluable, and I think you'll never go back to some of those other levels.
I mean, and basically from brainchild to here was late August.
Yeah,
Late August
of 2023.
Okay.
To say this is the idea. Find the company that will make the frames, and then creating the website, and then developing the app that will allow you to actually continuously, you know, change the link that's attached to your frame.
Wow. So you got potential, you got massive action.
You already know it.
You're gonna get some results. Then you're gonna get some belief.
Yeah.
Your potential is gonna expand.
Go up again. Yeah.
And then you're gonna apply more massive action because the potential is wider. I'm gonna get more results. My belief is going to increase.
Yep.
Which is going to increase my potential.
Yes.
More massive action. So you've begun the cycle. That's going to be super dope, and I'm just glad I get to witness.
And I just want to thank you guys, because, like, seriously, like, I mean, I know I'm back here, I'll be talking my shit and stuff like that, but, like, yeah, I really kind of like light a fire to kind of like, yo, like, get it done. Like, think about it, figure it out, and just execute.
That's it, man. That's how it's showing up and getting it done, right? Doing it. So yeah.
So next thing they're gonna see is we'll make sure that they see this up. Yep.
Yes, sir.
And rock it.
Yes, sir.
Yo, listen, man. I guess that's it, man.
I guess that's it, man.
At the end of the day, man, I'm Coach Lynch.
Hey, I'm Rob Brown. Listen, but wait. Thank you so very much for your support. Thank you for the comments, good, bad, or indifferent. Thank you for the 5-star ratings that you give us on your favorite listening platform, Apple or Spotify. Thank you for tapping in to our YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you for hitting the bell. Thank you for sharing everything. Thank you for going back and watching the old episodes. We appreciate you. That's called assumption. I'm thinking for something that I'm assuming they're going to do.
You might be future pacing.
Future pacing.
Yeah.
Right. But thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. 110 million %. If there's some information or a topic you want us to cover, please let us know. And with that, man, I'm out.
Peace.